Well, it seems there's a lot of interest in the smart crosscut plans, and so I'm getting on those. And as I was getting the model ready to create the plans, I came up with a couple of options that I wanted to at least consider and let you know about. Hi, I'm Ron Paulk, designer of the Smart Woodshop, as well as a series of workbenches and now the Smart Crosscut. Hey, if you want to get a set of plans, be sure to click on the link in the description of the video down below or at the end of this video. As I was getting the model updated to reflect the changes that I made in the field so that it would reflect the one you saw me build, I thought about a couple of options. I'm not going to include them in the plans. They're pretty straightforward, pretty simple, and I actually would rather make them myself and test them out before I put them in a set of plans. I don't like drawing something and just putting the plans out there until I've put it through its paces. But I think it would be a good time to just let you know what I'm thinking. So the maximum cross-cutting capability with the stop, the way it's set up, is about 2033 millimeters. And I thought, for most of what I do with cabinetry, that's way over anything I would need. Occasionally I have pantry cabinets, and then oftentimes I will, in fact, almost every time, I will build the refrigerator in, so I'll have a panel on each side of the refrigerator. And those get up, what I do with those is I just make them the right depth. I rip them to the right depth, and I leave them at their full 8 feet. And then I cut them in the field. I use a track saw, and because a lot of times those I am taper cutting a little bit on the top and a little bit on the back because I don't use scribe molding. So I'll do a scribe cut with the track. It's real easy to do, and you get a nice craftsman finish. But I guess, if you found yourself in a situation where you did want to have multiple cuts of longer material, how could we do it with this smaller bench and this small stick here that carries the track and the stop block? And so I thought about just taking the exact same stop block and creating this little. So basically, I've just made it the same layout as this one, and I just put it on a longer stick and then moved the point of contact back, and so basically cutting away the material, extending the original stop to a really long one, and then instead of putting the screw up here, just notch out this little section here and put the screw back there for adjustability. And and that could be any length, but I just went to 2651. I don't know how it ended up with that. I think I did a millimeter cut back here to get it to an exact dimension. But that would give you a chance to at least show you a way that you could use this to rip cross-cut longer material and have repeatable cuts. And obviously this thing could be even longer, and then the material should be supported. You're using, if you're cutting 3/4 18 millimeter. But the other thing I thought you could do is on the bottom side of this, you could screw on a small piece of aluminum or a small piece of, say, 1/4 inch or 6 millimeter ply, glue it on, and have it kind of come into this space here from the bottom of this. So that would at least hold up one corner of the material and give it some stability if you found you needed that. Probably wouldn't be necessary, but it certainly would help. And the other option is just really a matter of, if you've got the space in your vehicle when you're transporting this, just taking the section that the track rides on, and just it would be made exactly the same, but instead of ripping it to the width of mine, you just rip it wider. And with this thing clamped down with bench dogs, or in this case where I actually have a clamp in there where the dog is further out, it would cantilever over and just extend the bench top. And as you know, when you're cutting material starting with, say, 8 foot long, you've ripped your material, but it's still 8 feet long. If you start with say a typical 30-inch cabinet, the stop is going to be way up here, and so the balance of the material is going to be hanging off on this side, at least for the first and second cut. And I never have a problem with that. I just put a sawhorse or one of my other benches, because all of my benches are the same height, and I'll just put another bench nearby and then put sacrificial strips on it. Not so much that I'm cutting on it, but just to keep it to the same height as the bench with the sacrificial strips on it. So, you know, if you had the room to carry this around, you wouldn't even need to make the smaller one, unless you wanted, you know, one that was very portable, but then you wanted the option of making something a little bit bigger. Then you could have this as a secondary option. But I think, and again, I haven't tested it out, so I'm not recommending it at this point, but I can think this one through and think that there would be no issues with that. So anyway, two options there, and then just the update on the plans. Right now, I've got the model all figured out, and so if I just kind of go through the model, so that this is what I'll use in the plans over in layout, and I need to get it very accurate. So I've got all the drawings the way I need them to be, showing the parts, and then the material layout. It doesn't take a very big piece of 18 millimeter ply to make this up, so it's going to be fairly economical. It'll be more your time than anything, and actually you can make this up in probably, not counting the holes, depends on how you cut the holes, but getting everything else done under an hour, you'll be ready to start drilling the holes. So anyway, there's where we're at, and I will put a video up when the plans are completed and Chris has put them up in the store. I will put up a video and say they're available. If you watched my last video, you know I have moved into a new shop/storage, and I'm going to be spending a lot of time working out and organizing over there. I've got everything in there now, so I got a lot of organization to do before I can do any videoing in there. But I'll take the video in there and show you how it's coming along. It looks really good, even day one, where we just moved everything into it yesterday, and we were able to get it reasonably organized, at least organized enough we can get in there and really organize it. It's not just a pile of stuff on the floor. If you like what I do here on this channel, be sure to give me a thumbs up, subscribe. Most important, tell somebody else about the channel. And if you'd like to support the channel, you can also use my Amazon store, which you'll find in the link to it in the description down below. Thanks for taking the time to watch. Have a great day.